Welcome back to Night City, guys. This update is so huge, I tell you. There is so much secret stuff inside. Have you ever seen this camouflage? It has now been released with patch 1.3 and nobody actually talked about it from the devs. I have been running around here in Pacifica killing all those high level police for over 10 minutes and they were not able to kill me. It is so much fun using that camouflage, and you can even use it when you ride your bike and you really look like a ghost. It is so cool to do this. The new camouflage mod in the legendary version actually makes you invisible or kind of invisible for your enemies for up to 16 seconds. But you can totally abuse this camouflage when you also use the Sunday Vista, and you can have a longer time for your camouflage. You can reduce the cooldown for your camouflage. All this will be shown in this video and much more. But first, let's start with the locations where you can actually get these camouflage mods. The rare version for the camouflage mod can be bought from the Ripper Dock in Pacifica. It costs 15,000 eddies, but it is only active for 6 seconds, so not really worth your money. The improved epic version can be found in Kabuki at one of those Ripper Docks near the Kabuki circle. This version will cost 25,000 and activates the camouflage for 10 seconds. But the best version, of course, is the legendary variant of this mod, and it can be found in Arroyo at the Ripper Dock here for 35,000. It activates the camouflage for 16 seconds, and similar to the other variants, it has a cooldown of 1 minute. But before you equip one of those camouflage mods, you have to be aware that you can never remove it again from your cyberware. There's actually a bug which prevents you from placing any other cyberware in that camouflage slot. I can actually change the rarity of the camouflage mod, but I cannot entirely remove it anymore. I've actually tried out a lot of stuff with the camouflage to increase its duration, to reduce the cooldown, and what you can do is you can use the bioconductor. The bioconductor reduces the cooldown of all your cyberware mods. There's a rare one reducing 10%, an epic one reducing 20%, and the legendary one, which I have, reduces 30% of all cooldowns. So instead of 1 minute, you can bring down the camouflage cooldown to 41 seconds. And then you can also use a Sunday Vista mod, which slows down time, and that actually triggers a really cool effect. So when we activate our camo, our whole body is camouflaged, optics are useless during that time, and at around 9 seconds we kick in the Sunday Vista now. And the Sunday Vista is actually slowing down the camouflage. We have a 50% slowdown for the Sunday Vista, so we get the double time from that period when Sunday Vista is active. But there's actually a way better Sunday Vista here, which slows down time to only 10% of the usual speed. So when we activate our camouflage now and then we kick in the Sunday Vista, the countdown for the iconic Sunday Vista Warp Dancer mod is going down 3, 2, 1, but the camouflage stays at 10 the whole time. So you can actually prolong the time by using Sunday Vista. But since the Warp Dancer is so short, even though it stops it entirely, the 50% Mark III Sunday Vista mod is actually the better thing to use, because it has a much longer timer here with 16 seconds, and by putting in all the heat sinks you can reduce the cooldown to be only 4 seconds, which is much better than waiting for the legendary one. I also wanted to show you where you can get all those elemental damage for your arms here. I've already shown you the fire version, which looks really cool. You can get all those rare ones here at the Ripper Dock in Watson. You can buy the chemical, the electrical, thermal damage from him, and then just equip it in one of your mod slots from your arms. Really easy to do. You just have to step away from the Ripper Dock a bit and then you can just equip it. The yellow one here is the chemical version, basically just chemical yellow flames instead of red flames, so almost the same effect, just a bit different here in color. Electrical are really cool because you have those little lightnings, those little bolts coming out of your hands. Really cool. So from the looks I definitely prefer the electrical version. And when you equip the thermal version, of course, you have the red flames as usual, also really cool. But the bad thing is when you equip the bleeding effect knuckles, then you're stuck with the normal variant. So for bleeding, there's actually nothing in the game, which is a bit sad. I expected some kind of rings or metal stuff like on your arms, which makes your hits a little bit harder, but yeah, there's nothing like that. A really important update is that the legendary clothing specs can now be successfully found in the high level clothing stores. Here in downtown Haywood you will find now the legendary crafting specs for clothings, the epic crafting specs for clothings. Especially here the evening jacket, I used it for my crafting glitch, which is really nice. Check out the other video if you haven't watched it yet. And they actually also increased the chance for clothing mods to appear at your clothing vendors. Here's a Deadeye and a Fortuna, and I can simply buy them here, go out, wait for 24 hours, then go back inside the store, and then there will be new legendary clothing mods. They now literally drop every time when you reset your store, go out 24 hours. And then when we talk to the Jinguji guy again, he has another Deadeye, another Fortuna, and even a Bully mod. So 3 legendary clothing mods just in a single try. Really go outside, reset the stores. That may be even a faster way to get all those mods. And actually you can only get the Deadeye mods from those clothing stores, because Deadeye mods actually never spawn in clothings when you craft them. Deadeye mods are of course also working and stacking now. 2 Deadeye mods are actually better than 1 Fortuna and 1 Bully. So rather use Deadeye as long as you want to increase your crit chance. If not, then use Bully. So Deadeye and Bully are the go-to mods. We also have to talk about a really big nerf that happened with patch 1.3, and that affected the Contagion quick hike. Some people say they lost around 50% they previously dealt with that mod in their netrunner builds. So I would rather recommend you use Overheat or even better Short Circuit. Contagion is not entirely nerfed into the ground, but it is probably no longer a really mandatory for your netrunner build. You can still distract your enemies, but you can definitely not kill them as fast as before. On the other hand, we get a cost reduction for all those crafting materials, actually 20%. Every piece of crafting materials has been discounted by 20% with patch version 1.3, and we also need less materials to craft in this update. Here's the Sunday Vista and Heatsink previously had like 20 epic materials, 20 rare materials, and now it's only 3, 5, 6, 8 or whatever. It's way less than before. So we get a big cost reduction on the materials, and we need less materials to craft our stuff. Good times for all those crafters out there. There is also a much needed change in the description of those clothing mods. If you take a look at those bullet points for every single mod you have installed in your gear, that is now displaying correctly the value for that single mod. Previously the values were wrong and were showing the cumulative value, but now you get 30% for a Bully mod, 30% here for the second Bully mod, and then 12% for the other 2 Fortuna mods. The cumulative values have been placed now above, so you see that 24% crit chance and 60% crit damage in total will be supplied by these mods. That will definitely remove a lot of the confusion for new players, especially here on the armor values. Previously they were shown like 700 or 800 armor for every mod, which was just wrong, because it is in fact only 254 and 254 for the other armor mod, and not 500 for every mod. What is also interesting here is those requirement labels, because I had fully upgraded clothings at level 46, then I installed the patch and now my clothings are level 50. What I believe they fixed here is that you could theoretically upgrade your clothes infinitely until they reached level 50, but they didn't have a requirement label on it, so you could wear level 50 clothes at lower level, and that seems to be fixed now. The mods list is also completely fixed, no more disappearing mods or issues when you scroll down. Everything is working smoothly and correct, even though you won't have that many mods anymore, because in the new version you will not craft that many low level mods. You will just craft what you need and the list will be way smaller. There are a lot of smaller changes also. They added a new quest tab here, which now separates all those quest marker items. I would appreciate if they actually remove those quest markers from Johnny's gear, but you can't have everything, I guess. A really nice quality of life change is when you skip time, you can now use your shoulder buttons of your controllers. And if you want to reset your perk points, you don't have to buy a tabular eraser anymore. You can now directly do that here in the character menu. And the costs are also connected to the number of points you have. So if you have only a few points, it will only cost you 1 or 2,000 to reset your points, which can really help you correct errors when you are low level. There's still so much more that has been improved. There's more lore attached to every quest, the mirrors have been improved, the saving menu has been changed and completely reordered, and last but not least, you also get a cool new reward screen when you finish any of those endings. Also a really nice improvement in patch 1.3. In previous patches you only had a small text and you didn't even know what you got. By the way, if you have only done one ending, you should definitely do the other endings too, because you get different rewards for every ending, you get some different iconic weapons during the other ending quest, so you should do them, and when you click one more gig at the end of the credits, you will keep all those things, you will transfer it, you will wake up here in the park, and then you have all those weapons. It will let you continue every quest, don't be afraid, you can just continue everything. By the way, we also have a Discord server. If you want to discuss this game or if you want to ask us questions, join us there. Also, thanks to my super fans Bruce and Grateful Golem. If you found this helpful, please don't forget to subscribe, leave me a like, and see you next time.